Okay. So tonight I wanted to go over just a couple things, and then Arivac's going to come do the class. One of them, before I forget about it, is we need to be taking a manual blood pressure as our first blood pressure in all our patients. We have too many people that either get freaked out or don't understand that sometimes the machine is wrong. It's something that we're supposed to do. The state actually requires you to do a manual blood pressure for your first. That way you have kind of a baseline as you go and run your call. You can tell whether that automatic machine is way off, so we need to start taking the manual blood pressure. It's just something we need to do. The other thing is I started redoing the inventory. You can see over here on the shelf. Turn the computer. I brought it inside. The idea behind it is, one, it's cleaner in here. Out there's a lot of bugs, dust, and it's still dusty in these buildings. We're in a barn, but it's a lot cleaner in here than it is out there. The other thing is there's more light. It's easier to see. And then the third thing is we have these shelves that we've reclaimed from the hospital project, which actually turned out to work really well. And so the idea behind it is to give every single item that we have on the ambulance a spot on the shelf, whether we stock it or not. And that way, whenever you do your monthly check on your ambulance, which a lot of you have seen the monthly check, once I'm still not, I want you guys to start doing them. It's not, not mandatory yet. But what the monthly check is to put your hands on every piece of equipment and item in that ambulance. Look at every date. Look at make sure you have the right number of items in there. What this is intended to help is reduce how much out of date inventory we have on our ambulances, which is a lot. We had a lot of out of date inventory. And it kind of goes hand in hand with the shelves that we're doing in here. And so when you do your monthly check, if you find that you outdated stuff or you need to replace stuff, and you come in here, you should be able to find, if it was on the ambulance, you should be able to find a spot on the shelf. The numbers are set. So if it says 3 non-rebreather masks and you find 4, I want you guys pulling that extra one off. This is to help us with inventory. If you come in and look at our shelves, you'll see that there's some things that we just have way too much of. There's some things we just don't have enough of, and so it's to help us work the inventory. I want to be very clear about something. It's not Rodina or Vicky's job to check the ambulances for dates and equipment. It is everybody here's job. Their job, well, now Vicky is doing QA, was to take care of the inventory that you guys replace on the ambulances. There was never really a good way of doing that. It was just kind of, if you do it at the end of the month or if you do it when you're on shift, great. If not, and so, like all EMS services, we got kind of lax on it. And everybody kind of felt like it was Rodina and Vicky's job, and it was never the intent. You guys got to understand that inventory ambulances and keeping out-of-date stock off of them is a job that's going to take all of us doing. No matter what you do, how many times you go through it, you're going to find out-of-date stock. So it's a huge job. The other thing is I don't want things added to it. If there's one glucometer on the ambulance now, or there should be, it's in the bag of the monitor. I don't want a second or a third one put on the ambulance. I want if that whenever you do your check, if that glucometer is not there, you either need to find it on the bench seat or somewhere because somebody forgot to put it up, or then we need to replace it. But I don't want to get into where we have 2 and 3 glucometers on a truck. I don't want to get to where we have 10 non-rebreather masks. I don't want to get to where we have 4 different places that we keep inventory. Now, some things that's how it's going to be. The IV stuff, I'm still trying to work that out. But my thoughts right now is 2 IV kits. One of them almost saying is going to be in the jump bag. I want the jump bag so that you could handle any life-threatening emergency. out of that jump bag and get you back to the ambulance where the rest of your equipment is. So I have I have a bag valve mask, oral nasal airways, an IV kit, dextrose, and some bandaging stuff. There should be a tourniquet. Guys, it's not all set yet. It's a work in progress. We're having to order a whole bunch of tourniquets and things to get the right number on the units. But so that's where it is. So the idea with the shelf. So you come to get a new item off the shelf, and it's not there. I'm going to have some reflective or orange tape magnets with the unit numbers on it. And I want about 10 for each unit. So if you are out of non-rebreather masks, you just put in it's unit 24, and there's no non-rebreather mask on the shelf. I want you to grab that unit 24 and stick that reflective thing on the shelf. That way it's an easy, we can see it easily. The eventuality of it is that we're going to have, whenever you do your monthly check, it will actually build an order list for us, but it's going to take a while. It's a lot of formulas to write, and it's just going to take a while. This is a job that it's everybody's job. I don't like hearing, well, this wasn't on the ambulance, or that wasn't on the ambulance. And my question really is that question is, which that statement is, well, did you check your ambulance? If you checked your ambulance, then it should have been there. If you didn't check your ambulance, I don't really have any sympathy for you. So it's a little bit of hard love, but guys, I think once it's fully in place, it'll actually be a lot easier. I think we'll find that we have a lot less inventory on the shelves to dig through because there's a shitload, and it'll reduce the cost. So it'll make us more efficient. Most things we could get within a day, so I don't need to keep 15 of them that expire in a year. So that's where I'm on the inventory. Work with me on it. Please don't try to overload or overstock the ambulances while we're doing it. Use your monthly check. It has how many I want on each one. Let's say that you, like Sabrina did with the glucometer, thought that it was a good idea to put it in the monitor. Don't just put it in the monitor. Why? Well, because everybody expects it to be on the shelf. And when you just put it in the monitor because that's what you do, well, then they can't find it. So what we need to do, and what we need to get in practice of, is that glucometer needs to be, you want to put on the monitor, you need to come talk to me. Yeah, sounds like a great idea. We'll try it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to move it on our sheet, and I'm going to send out an email to everybody so everybody gets the note that, hey, we're moving the glucometer, we're removing the 4x4s or whatever it is. And then we'll relabel, or if we need to relabel, we'll relabel as needed. But I don't want us just moving things. I want everything to have a home. I want you guys to get used to checking where that home is, so that you don't get on a call and you freak out because you don't have something. Guys, this is one of the few things in EMS that could actually make your calls run a lot smoother. If you know where all your stuff is on the ambulance, your call will run a lot smoother. And you'll feel a lot more comfortable about the call. It's going to take us a little time to get to where I want to be. But anyway, that's why I'm on inventory. Does anybody here have any questions, suggestions, complaints, bitches?
You have all this marked so we know where
Yep.
to find it.
Yep. All Vera's question was, is everything on the shelf going to be marked? Yes, everything will be labeled with the quantity, the minimal quantity that should be there. Like I said, when you come to get something, if it's not there, because I'm not going to stock certain things, like I'm not going to stock extra surgical crite kits. I guarantee you that all of them are going to, or all of them, I shouldn't guarantee you because there's a chance that Sabrina or myself, Tammy, or another paramedic that we have. Sorry, Tyler. Is there any other ones? There's a chance that we'll use a surgical crite, but it's very rare. I've been in EMS since '97. I've never seen one used, and I never used one. I've heard stories of it. So no, I'm not stocking extra surgical crites. If you use it, awesome. We'll order a new one. But there will be a place for surgical crites on the shelf. So whenever you use it, you come in to replace it, and it's not there. Take your little unit 20 or 22 or 24 and put it on surgical crite. So whenever I come in to go to the bathroom in the morning, I say, oh, hey, look, there's something, or Rovina does. Or we could just step in here and glance and say, hey, there's something that needs to be ordered. And we can get it ordered right away. That'll keep the inventory up on our trucks. We don't run into what we have right now, which are trucks. If I was an inspector, I'd shut some of these trucks down. So, does that answer your question, dear?
Yeah, I was thinking a lot of the paramedic stuff, I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah, good point. A lot of paramedic stuff I wouldn't have a clue. Get familiar with it. That's, I mean, yeah, Vera, I understand that it's going to be a learning process for you to learn what a surgical trach kit is, and I'm going to be honest with you, you probably never need to know what one is. But whenever you're checking your truck, if you don't know what it is, the trucks are going to end up being labeled too, the same way these shells are, with the number on it. So all you need to do is find out where that surgical trach is and on a shelf, and say, hey, this looks like something crazy that would cut into a throat.
Yeah, the dates that have it, so you can find another one.
Yeah, I had another basic. I'm not going to name any names. What's that? That said, drugs. Tyler made a suggestion, and I was actually thinking about doing this anyway. He wanted to pull the controlled drugs out of our control bag, and I'm still thinking about exactly how I want to do this. But basics, it's okay if you check drugs, not controlled. The only ones I don't want you checking is controlled. But the thing is once a month. Now, okay, let me throw you guys a little bone here. I want you guys using this monthly check for whenever we get rolling here. The first, I want you guys using it, maybe once a week on your shift. Don't do the drugs once a week. You don't need to. But on your once a month shift, if it's two basics checking in unit, and I'll tell you guys that through my plan here. If it's two basics checking that unit, those drugs don't get checked that month, and the state shows up. Well, then we're going to get in trouble. But how I plan on doing once it's in full swing, everybody's comfortable with it, is I plan on during the day, I'm going to check one of the units. But I expect the night crew to check the other. And I'm not going to check the same unit every time. I know how everybody gets. They memorize what they need to fill it out, and they pencil it a lot. Guys, I've been a paramedic for a long time. I know that's how things work. That's how you get done. But that's why I'm going to check a different truck each month. This is something I want you guys to take serious. This is something I want you guys maybe to take some pride in. If we could keep our ambulances at a good level, then our ambulances aren't so full of crap that when you try to pull something out, 10 things fall on you. The other thing, if you feel, and maybe you run a call, and our minimum number isn't enough, don't just add more, okay? Rather than add more, let's talk about it. I'm not against going above what the minimum state is or what I've set as a minimum on some of these items, but let's talk about it. We need to have some dialogue. I'm going to be directly involved with approving whether we're going to add items to a truck or a shelf. So don't just start adding crap to the truck. It's going to get to a point where I'm taking away Rodina's ability to pick different things. We're going to figure out which product we like, and that's all we're going to order. I decided I hate MedSource and MedStorm. They outdate. Put an expiration date on everything. It's ridiculous. Nasal cannula. Put an expiration date on a nasal cannula. And so that's the plan. And guys, it's a work in progress. Okay. I don't expect you guys to be perfect right out of the gate, but I expect you guys to try. And I know that if you're in here and out in 20 minutes before or when your shift starts, I know you didn't do it. Another thing, those checks go a lot faster whenever one person jockeys the computer and one person does the things that the person jockeying the computer asks them to do. It will probably cut your time in half. Rather than Lenny and I did it today. Just I kind of worked with him a little bit, but pulled out the tablet versus trying to do it on your phone or write it down. Just pull out the tablet and just go through and click yes, yes, no, no, yes, whatever. Some of you've seen on our control panel, I'm starting to build where if something's wrong with an ambulance or something, and it's going to be the same with inventory, if something's wrong or something's missing, it's going to pull up on our control panel so I can see it. you know, I am guilty of you guys coming and telling me, hey, this load light's out. Gosh, how long's that load light out? Maybe 4 or 5 months?
Years.
So
I finally give up.
guys, I'm guilty too. I mean, you guys are marking it. I went ahead and I figured out how to do the filters on it, and all of a sudden I have these little messages that say load lights out. You know what? I don't like having that message on my. I like it being nice and clean, and so it works a lot better whenever I see it. I'm like, I don't want that on there. And so now
You deal with it when you got time.
yeah, and I don't forget about
A
it.
lot of come in and, you know, hey, that load light, you know, we're doing something else.
Yeah. You guys are doing, you know, you guys do really good. I don't want you guys to think that I'm bitching or putting you down. I mean, I might be bitching a little bit. I do that, but I think you guys do awesome. And and I want you guys to know I'm really proud of our service. I just want to continue to build a better service. And inventory is one place that I think that we can make a huge change really fast. And so, anyway, any other questions?
When we check the drugs, do we have access to all these drugs?
No, you'll have access to non-controlled, and guys, it's okay. You could have access to non-controlled drugs. They're not the ones that are worrisome. And you know, Vera, if you're not comfortable checking the drugs, bring the drug bag in, and I'll go over it with you a couple times. And you'll see it's really not that those drugs aren't that big of a deal. The controls, I don't want you breaking the brake tag on the controls. And so what I'm probably going to have to do is move our drug bag to a non-locked cabinet and leave our controls in the locked cabinet. And that's probably what's going to have to happen. Like I said, I expect basics to get to the point where you're able to check the regular drug, not the controls. The controls is a different animal, and only certain people are supposed to have access to it. And there's inventory people and paramedics. And we're not supposed to have the same access to it. And so, anyway, out there on the computer, if you guys have any questions or concerns, suggestions, I'm open. I want to make this one of the best services around. You know, I want good equipment. I want things. I want our ambulances stocked in a way that are easy to use. And I think that takes some pressure off you guys, and it makes you guys operate better. All right, I think I'm done with this. If not, you guys up there on the YouTube. What's that?
Set up a day.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
I missed that part.
So I've gone back and forth with this, with on how should we do this? What day? It's typically every EMS service is either the first or the last day of the month. I say let's do it around the first or last day of the month. I don't care if it's the first or last. If I was thinking, well, if it falls on a weekend, one crew could do it on Saturday and one crew could do a truck on Sunday. But I really do want to be involved in checking a truck each month. Not that I don't trust you guys. I don't trust you guys. Not that I don't trust you guys, but I feel like I need to be a part of it. I need to see how it's going. I need, and I could help make changes to it. And so I'm thinking, maybe like if the first or last falls on the weekend, maybe I'll do it on a Thursday or Friday or something like that, or we get back on Monday. Just as long as it's around that first of the month. So, good question. When to do it?
I was thinking about how are you going to know which one falls on that day?
What's that? No, we're going to check all the trucks once a month.
I know. Like say, okay, me and Marty's on the first or second Saturday, 15th.
Okay, and how do you?
And I was on the first and second of next month. Now, these other ones are not checking it because we're on them days.
Yeah, and that's why I want you guys initially checking it once a what am I trying to say? About once a week. I want you doing it about once a week. I'll look at the calendar here to see how often it falls, because if it does, if the first, if we're always falling on a Friday, and I like Marty's idea, we could just put it on, and that way that gives us a little control of who's doing it. So it's not always the same person, because everybody's noticed that you're kind of getting the same days each month, and that's by design too.
Well, why not if you go ahead and put them on the calendar, we could avoid that day.
I might well do it on Saturday or Sunday.
If you put it on the calendar, you'll say, I don't want that day.
Yeah, no, what I'll do, and that's what I'll do, is when I'm making the schedule, I'll just go ahead and you guys put your available date, and I'll just go ahead and put which day we're going to do the check. No, that's a good thought, Garrett, because the other side of that is, how do you know it got checked? Yeah, eventually you'll be able to look at the control panel and it'll say last time unit 24 was monthly check was on this date, but that's not done yet. So the best way to do it is probably I'll just schedule them on the calendar until we move on. So, any other questions? That's a good suggestion. Good job.
No.
It's all right.
No, I think you'll take stuff off because.
The thought has crossed my mind. I've also thought the other, Marty just said she thinks that I'll take stuff off the test, you guys. I've thought of that. There's EMS services.
If you did, not need to.
Well, there's a lot of directors that will do that. They'll the day the truck's supposed to be checked, they'll just grab an item. Now they'll hang around the truck, just like what Vera is saying, just in case it gets a call, so they can throw the item back on. But they're testing to see if their crews are actually checking everything. Rather than getting in the habit of pencil. Another thing I thought about is just stick a $5 bill somewhere. And incentivize the check, or maybe $10, so each of the crew members could have.
I think that's very good.
So each crew could have $5. Or maybe a combination of both. But anyway, I have no doubt that you guys will.
No, man.
I don't. Vera's telling lies right now. So anyway, Larry back and the Cheyenne Fire Department should be here. They're starting to walk in now. So I'm going to wrap this up. Good night.
Well,